Hello everyone. I'm still working on my mesh animation system, and last time I kinda got it working, but it's buggy. Like it didn't work like this at first, and then I re-exported it, and then it started working. So it's really shady and it's not reliable. So I'm gonna continue working on this and see if I can maybe hopefully get it to work consistently. So what I'm going to do that is I'm just going to go ahead and start with a very complex, or at least a lot more complex example than what I've been doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to import this mesh that I had before, the character mesh that I was using. This character OBJ, I'm going to use this thing and I'm going to rig it up and animate it and see if it works in my game. I don't think it will. I'm not being very optimistic about that at all, but it might work. I don't know. All right, so I want to scale this down so that he's about 2 meters tall, about average for a tall, gentle person. And then put him back onto the ground. That's good enough. And then I want to make sure I center everything. So I want to apply all those transforms. And it's very, very dense mesh. So I'm going to reduce a lot of the geometry on it. And again, I'm going to properly retopologize all of my meshes when I get serious about making the game. But for now, I'm just going to decimate it. I think I used like 0.02 or something like that last time. Something like that. It's good enough. Let's go ahead and apply that. And then, so now I'm going to rig it up. So let me go ahead and reapply all those just in case. And then I'm going to add an armature. And I want to be able to see it. So let's change the viewport to be in front. And I'm just going to start putting this where I think it should go. So I'm doing one bone here in the center. That's going to be like the pelvis bone. That's the root of the body, basically. And then we'll do another one for like the mid back or lower back area. Let's put that kind of lower. And then we'll do one for the upper back, and then one for the neck and for the head. So those look okay. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this neck bone and use that as like the, what is that, the collarbone? Something like that. Shoulder bone. All right, so then we're gonna do the upper arm, and then the forearm, and then the hand. I'm just gonna do one bone for the hand. I'm not gonna rig up each individual finger for now. And again, this is just for testing. I'm not trying to go for perfection. Like I said, I'm really not confident that this is gonna work. Okay, so then I'm going to then duplicate this bone here to use as the leg. And I think I'm gonna do two bones for the foot. One for like the actual foot, and then one so that I can animate the toe if need be. All right, that's good enough. All right, so now I need to rename all of this stuff on the left side. So that, I don't care. Actually, I'll just rename them all. So I'll call this pelvis. That is, call this back lower, back upper. This is going to be the neck. That's the head. Okay, so then this one is the shoulder, L for left. And this is going to be arm, upper L. And this will be arm, lower L. And hand, L. And this will be leg, upper L, leg, lower L. This is going to be the foot, L, and one more for the toe, L. And the whole reason I went through naming all of those is so that I can just do this one quick thing here. Select all of the bones on one side, and then do right click, symmetrize, and then bam, it automatically puts them on the other side. Okay, so that's it. That's my skeleton. Let me apply all those transformations, and then I want to then parent the mesh to the skeleton with automatic weights. And what else do I need to do? I need to make sure I limit those weights. Wait, that's not what I want. So we go to weight mode, and then we want to limit the total, make sure that the total is only set to 4, and then I also want to make sure I normalize everything. All right, I don't know if this has to be all selected or not, but just in case, I'm going to normalize everything. But then we want to now go to pose mode, I believe. Yeah, okay, so that's going to start working now for animation. And now I can start this at 0. We'll just do another 1 second long animation. So the T-pose is locked in there. And then the first, I don't know, I'm going to have him do like a dumb like squat animation. So we'll have him put the hands down at the side to start. And then we'll lock that in. And that's also where he will end. And then so in the middle of that, I'm going to have him get in a like squatting pose. And it's kind of tricky because I don't have like any like IK bones or anything, so it has no idea where the ground is. So like if I push this down, it just goes like right through the ground. But it's fine. I'm just gonna. Oops. Whoops. Not at all perfect. In fact, very far from it. But it's a squatting animation. What can you say? Okay, so now I got that done. I can try to re-export all this stuff and see if it works in my game, which I definitely won't. I should be more optimistic, I think. Okay, so let me go to the scripting, open up here. We're going to look at desktop. Yeah, okay, so I want the animated mesh. The actual mesh itself is called character. And call this character as well. I think that's all I needed to change. Nope. Oh, I didn't put the UV coordinates on there. There we go. So now it runs. Okay, so that's the animated mesh. Now I need the actual animation, and that is here. What do I need to change? So I'll call this squat. And that the actual animation goes from frame 1 to 24. And I think that's all I have to change. I want to make sure I select the armature. I think that's it. Okay, so it exported. And so now when I'm running the game, I want to change this to character and change this to squat. And if we run it, we'll see that is definitely not working. That is about as far from working as I can possibly imagine without nothing showing up. Okay, so yes, that's not what I wanted at all. It's a little disappointing. Let me take a look at my exporter here. I think this is wrong. Because when I do a very simple example, it works perfectly fine in the game. But then when I start adding any sort of complexity to the animation or to the skeleton or the mesh, then it just gets all jacked up. So that tells me that it's something with my exporter here. And if I had to guess, I would say the way I'm calculating the parent ID is wrong. Because the fact that all of the meshes, or not the meshes, but the vertices are actually showing up, like it's not just a blank screen, leads me to believe that the rotation and the position is okay. It's just getting the wrong parent matrix to multiply all that stuff by. So I'm gonna rethink about this. I don't think this is right. I don't think the order in which they're located in my pose is the same order that I want them in the matrix. In fact, because yeah, this is actually going to be changing. Well, I don't know if it's going to change or not, but because here when I'm calling the function, this is not what it should be. I don't know, it makes sense in my brain, but I can't put it into words. So I think what I want to do is actually take the parent ID as like a parameter here. So instead of initializing it to 0 every time, I want to actually take in the parent ID. But then I don't want to do this then. So what I want to do is a recursive function. Every time it gets called, you're talking about a new bone, and then you're wanting to send, when that function calls itself, you want to send in its own index. So I need some kind of way of persistently counting how many times this recursive function gets called. Let me do this. This is going to be dumb, but whatever. So I'm going to make a class called recursion counter. And all it's going to have is a counter variable set to 0. And so it's also going to take in this counter here every time you parse a pose. And then so we need this like index that's going to equal whatever the counter dot counter is. And then we want to increase that. Right, so every time this function gets called, this gets increased, but then this will get set to whatever the parent ID is. So then when I'm calling it, I need to pass in index as the parent ID and then just pass in the counter so it keeps count. And then that means I would get rid of this entirely. Right, and then now that's gonna, okay, so that should work there, but then when I'm calling the function initially, right here, I want to pass in 0 for the parent ID, and then I need another counter. So I guess, yeah, actually I do want it to get reset every time, so I want to just create it here. So I can say, I guess it's whatever I want to call it. Counter equals recursion counter. And then pass in counter. Okay, does that even compile? It does. It runs. I don't know if it did anything though, but let me go ahead and save this just to be safe. And then if I go back here, oh my goodness, that was it. I got a ugly squatting guy. That is so hideous, but it's working. Oh my god. Oh, that is so ugly, but it's definitely the same thing. How do I hide this? It's a little off, but it's definitely working. All right, so let's now let's try another animation here. So let me select that, go back to pose mode, select all the bones. So let's make another animation that goes from frame 25 to, I don't know. How long does it take to do like a running stride? So 25. What's another second would be 24. 25 plus 24 is 49. 49 seconds, 49 frames. Yeah, so here I'm gonna start a new animation. I'm gonna make like a really terrible looking running animation. Whoa. All right. And then now this arm needs to go forward. And this one will go back. All right, so there's that pose. I'm gonna end on the same pose. And then in the middle here, I'm just gonna try to reverse everything. I don't know if this looks like the middle to me. So I'll put that arm back, put this one forward, and then put this leg back, and this leg forward. Yeah, that's wonky. It's so stiff. Let me see if I could add like a head bob or something. That just made it worse, but I don't care. Who cares? I don't, that's for sure. So now I just need to export this animation, and it goes from frame 25 to 49. Is that what he said? And it's not a squat. It's going to be called run. And export. Oh, I broke it. Oh yeah, shoot. I gotta be careful because every time I do this, I gotta make sure I have object mode with the armature selected, but then I need to be careful not to permanently rotate the thing. And so this should be 0. Uh-oh. Oh, that's right. It's not mathutils. There we go. Okay, so then I don't think, let me just go ahead and apply all the transformations there. And that should be it. Yes, now he's in the pose, it exports properly. Do I have run? Yeah, run is there. So now if I just change squat to be run, and he's running. All right. So now, okay, so I'm going to put him in the game and see what that looks like. Where do I do that? That is funny. Okay, so yeah, I definitely want to get rid of that big old ugly mesh. So the player, actually, so I need to change the player's data structure. Do I have a player? I do, right? Yeah, right there. Okay, so instead of a textured mesh, it's going to be an animated mesh. And so when I initialize the game state, state player's orientation, character, player dot, right, so the player's mesh is an animated mesh. Yeah, so that means instead of create textured mesh, oh, you know what? I didn't even add that function to my game state. Let me go ahead and do that. I think. Yeah. Is that all it takes? Just a file name? No. But yeah, it should actually go ahead and make another function that can do it with the file name. Okay, so when I am reading a file for a animated mesh, I want to do all this. Then I need to pass in the vertex v data, and then v size, and then I data, I size, right? What? Oh, that's all the other stuff I was doing. I need to. Wait, what are you talking about? Okay, so that's going to change. Binary architecture. Oh yeah, so that's then changed too. Actually, this is going to be create animated mesh. But that's not actually created yet, so that's going to cause problems. Yeah, so let me go ahead and there we go. Create animated mesh to the address of create mesh. Okay, so that compiles now, which is good. So now I need to change the players. Okay, so that's good. It's getting set there, and then we need to know, well, the player needs to know what animations he or she or it can do. So let's come here to the player. Where's my player? Okay, so after the animated mesh, we're going to have a couple of mesh animations. So this will be squat and run. They're not pointers, right? No. Okay, so then we're going to say, after all this, state player dot mesh dot animation. No, hold on. Okay, I should probably actually specify that these are animations. Okay, so the run animation is equal to, oh, you know what? Actually, I have to add that function now to my game state, and that is the create mesh animation. Okay, so I just got to put the guy where the okay, actually, yeah, what I'm doing here shouldn't be done there anymore. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and delete all this. Okay, so I just got the game as usual now. So now the player's run animation is equal to state, so we can uncomment that, OS functions dot create mesh animation, and I'm going to put in run dot animdat. And we more or less want to do the same thing for the squat animation. Okay, does that compile? It does. So now I want to set the states player dot mesh dot animation equal to the address of the run animation. Okay, Okay, so then when I am rendering the game, I don't want to do this. I want to say, oh yeah, I also need the update animation function. But this, honestly, does not have to be here. Yeah, I'm going to put this actually in my game state code, or my game, whatever. Not the engine code. I don't know where to put it. Let's add textured mesh. There it is. Okay, so I'll put it right below that. Let me just double check that it still compiles. Yeah, okay. All right, so when I'm rendering the game, I want to now do update mesh animation, and I want to pass in the players mesh dot animation and the delta time, which is, I guess, just state delta time. So I want to update that, and then I also want to render it. So that's going to be OS functions. And you know what? I could actually, if I think about this, no, never mind. This is doing. I could definitely rework this so that I could put the majority of this into the game code and not the OS code, but I'm going to leave it there for now. What did I just do? Oops, I accidentally closed that. There we go. Oops, I just closed it. There we go. All right, so now the OS functions dot render. Wait, did I not add that? No, I never did. Okay, so I need to now add that function. And it takes, what, all this. All right, so that's that. And so now I can finish this render animated mesh and put in the player's mesh. Actually, I need the address of that. And then I need all this other stuff here. Okay, so that runs, but now my game doesn't run and it crashes. So why is that? So when I'm multiplying the matrices, it is crashing. When is that happening? Render animated mesh here. I feel like I had this problem last time and it was something stupid and I fixed it right away, but now I don't remember what the problem was. Is the parent index off again? What is this supposed to be? Yeah, okay, so that's all a bunch of nonsense. Why? Something's not getting created right. That would make sense. All right, so let's see here. also don't know if this is conflicting with anything. Probably is. But yeah, I don't need to be doing all this stuff anymore. And it still crashes because why? Maybe the way I'm doing this is wrong. Wait a minute. I'm looking out. Okay, so this is seemingly working. So why did it break between moving it from the engine to the game? That's the tricky question. So is it this one? It's got to be this one. Yeah, so that's the function that's breaking everything. Keyframes, inverse bind transforms, and then define. So let me do this again. Actually, do that here. All right, so I just want to look at what BP is. And the parent index is 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 2. Okay, so here it's normal. Here the parent index is perfectly fine. But then somehow when it gets to a different spot, where? Okay, so somehow when it gets to here, it's wrong. So what is anim? Anim poses parent index. Yeah, see, that's not right. knows? Okay. I wanted to look at Anim a little closely and take a look at index. Okay, so that's not right at all. So let me take a look at when I'm actually creating the mesh and see if I can it's got to be here. Yeah, so right there it's getting set to 0.4 or something. Okay, so let me do this. Let me go back to my game code and where I am initializing everything. Let me follow the code there and then see if it makes any sense as to why it's getting messed up. So that's going to be where? Just out of curiosity, what if I... Okay, so if I commented that out, but then I put that back in, and then did p.mesh.mesh. Okay. Yeah. It's definitely parent indices are getting all messed up. And I gotta figure out why. Shouldn't be that tricky to figure out, but who knows? Okay, so let me take a look here. Step into those. One sounds about right. Total poses is 3. Okay, so now we're actually building up the keyframes. And the matrices. Okay, so again, BP, every iteration of this looks good. At least the parent index is good. So I don't know why it's getting changed. You know what? I think I know why. No, I don't know why. Wait, where am I actually allocating the memory? So create animated mesh, that's here. Oh, that's all good. So it's actually in the animation that's messed up. So here, BP. All right, so let me look at anim here. Oops. Oh, right. What happened? There we go. Okay, so we got poses, Parent index. Okay, yeah, so there it's all, I mean, the parent index at least is what it should be. I don't know why it's getting messed up, so let me think about this. So what is anim anyway? So anim's the mesh animation. All the bones. It's gotta be like a conversion thing, right? Poses. A pointer of bones. Yeah, see, that's all jacked up. Why? Anim, what? Why is this not available? Oh, because CFI doesn't know what it is. Why is this not available? Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, so I thought saving it as a float saved me last time, but it's like, seems to be messing me up now. I don't know why. This is so frustrating. I spend most of my time trying to fix the things that I broke. All right, so my conclusion so far is that when I create this animation here through my game state and not through the engine, it's giving me corrupted data for some reason. Let me look at that again. Is that the problem? Okay, so let me do this. Let me set up some things here. So I'm going to set up a breakpoint here, and I'm going to set up a breakpoint here, and I want to see if anim points to the same memory in both cases. Wait, I forgot what I was checking here. So let me just check that other one here, and anim's a copy of everything. Okay, so if I look at anim's keyframes, that's 24. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, let me try something else, because like I'm really only testing that run animation. Let me see if it works with the squat animation, because that would explain something. Yeah, no, it still crashes. Okay, so that gives me some idea that it's not really this. Oh, but this is wrong though. This shouldn't be k minus 1. This should be k minus whatever the first frame is, which is 25. But it still is not, it's just going to make the frame run longer. It's not going to mess it up this badly. Okay, so I need to really check this stuff out here. So if I go here, actually, go okay, state player dot even here it looks fine. So even after I create the animation, everything looks fine. So then I do all this stuff, So when I'm actually playing the game, what happens to everything? P dot squat. Oh, I gotta actually start the game, that's why. Okay, so p's dot squat animation dot poses. What do you have? Yeah, so there it gets all messed up. So somewhere between here and here, it's not working. No, that's, let me check the actual animation. Maybe that's messing it up. Okay. So mesh dot animation. Oh, it's a pointer. All right, so even there it's fine. So I mean, at least so far it is. Yeah, so here it's still the same whole number non-gibberish that it's supposed to be. So why does it get switched from that to something else? So update game state, and if it's not initialized, you initialize it. Then here. Same thing. It's got to be something stupid. I'm like forgetting the way memory works or something. Why does it lose track of all of that stuff? Render game. Takes the game state. The game state's not changing anything. That's reset name. Got the camera, player, control obstacles. Oh, okay, you know what? I think I know. Well, no, I don't know the problem actually, because it's working after the fact. At least immediately after the fact it is, but then it changes. It's so frustrating. I don't know what to do. So let me think. If I okay, so that's that. So the animation's always pointing at the same thing. Hoses are the same thing. So let's just keep going until this changes. Uh-oh. Did that change something? No. Obstacles, mesh. Did that change? Wait, it did change. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. So poses, hold on, so this is that, and then poses. So right there it's 0. And then there. Okay, so when I am calling create textured mesh, it's messing that up. So it's telling me, so I'm thinking I'm like overwriting the temporary memory. Or is it, wait, this function hasn't ran yet, or this line hasn't ran yet. So let me look at create textured mesh. Oh, okay, it's probably this one. Storage buffer. Okay, wait a minute. No, that's not right. Oh, you know what? I think I know what's happening. I think I'm overwriting a bunch of stuff accidentally. I don't know where or how. Create animated meshes. So I think somewhere I'm using this temp storage buffer when I want to be using permanent storage or long-term storage. Yeah, so here I'm allocating long-term memory. Let me go back here and try that again. Yeah, okay, so create textured mesh. It's definitely overwriting a bunch of stuff I need. Why? Okay, so let's go back to create mesh animation. So I'm putting, what am I putting on the temp storage buffer? Just the total bones, the total poses. And then, is that it? Yeah, so here I'm copying everything directly from the temporary storage buffer. But That doesn't make sense though, because I'm copying it to a place that's not on the temporary storage buffer. Yeah. Wait, yeah, so I'm definitely overwriting this, but I'm copying it all to a spot that should be safe, unless it's not. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to step through this, but I'm getting tired. I'm gonna call it a day and tackle this next time. I don't know. I feel a little frustrated because I spent most of the time just trying to fix this one thing, but I'm definitely improving. It's getting there. I got some sort of animated character going on, so that's cool. I just got to figure out why it's not working in the game state. It's crashing. But yeah, I know what the problem is. I just got to pinpoint where exactly it's happening and then fix it. So that's not going to be too bad. I'll probably, hopefully, fix that pretty shortly next time, and then I'll probably spend some time to formalize the exporters, the animated mesh and the animation exporter from Blender, and that'll be it. All right, so let me add everything and commit it to GitHub. I really shouldn't even be saving it with a bug like this, but who cares? I don't know what to put. Yeah, I'll just put more animation progress. All right, I'm out of here. Thank you, everybody. See you next time.